Hello, and welcome to today's eCast on incoming email for Vibe folders. As you can see, I've logged into Vibe here, and I'm at my workspace. A few caveats before I set up a couple folders here for incoming email. The first one is workspaces do not get set up for incoming email. They are holders for folders, and therefore only the folders will be able to be set up with email addresses. With that in mind, each folder will have its own separate incoming email address. And if you think about this, that makes sense. When you email something in, you want it to show up, to one and only one folder. Each user who tries to set up an incoming email address for a specific folder will have to have the workspace and folder administration right. Just being a team member won't do it. You have to basically own the folder. This only will work once it's set up from our corporate or group-wise email system. This would make sense to you when I explained that if we let it happen from, say, like your home email address, then once the spammers found your super secret email address, you would show up one morning and there would be all kinds of spam in the folder, and who wants that? It also respects the rights of the Vibe system. So if you have certain users set up for a folder and they can post new entries and they can edit things, but certain subset of users can't, those other users, even if they find out the email address, it doesn't have to be kept secret. Even if they try to use it and they try to email into it, the system will recognize it from the from address, from their email address, and will basically decline it and just silently delete it, and it won't ever get posted to the folder. So those are some quick things that you just want to keep in mind. So now let's go on to how we would set up the folders. So as you can see over here, I've got two folders, email test files and email test wiki. I'm basically going to show you what an entry looks like when you email it into these two different types of file types. These are probably the two most common ones that you might run into. So I'm just going to pick the test files one first. I'm going to go up to folder here, and I'm going to go to the configure views, URLs, and controls. And again, if you're not the owner of the folder, or at least the workspace or folder admin, you're not going to see this, and you're not going to be able to do this part. So let me click on that. Up here at the top, you'll see simple URLs and email addresses. Click on that tab, and now you've got this define simple URL for this folder or workspace. So you come in, and there's the beginning of it. You drop this list down, and you'll see your login name, and you'll see a bunch of folder names. You will not see this leave blank. That's just something that I have. So I'm going to leave it as my login name. That usually makes the most sense. Not always, but it can. And I'm just going to, for this first one, I'm going to do test files, and I'm going to click add. Now this does two things. One, it sets up this short URL so that if you want to actually bookmark this folder within like Firefox or IE, but outside of Vibe, I think most of you know that there's like a My Favorites or a My Teams within Vibe. This would let you actually bookmark a folder outside of that so that you could basically launch it directly. We're not really going to show you that today, just know that's what it can do. And then you're going to want to make sure that this checkbox is next to the allow email post to this folder via the following address. That's what we're testing today. And you can see that how it makes the email address. So you can see the T Ashman there, which was that first section right here. You can see the test files, which is what I made up and put in there. And then it adds a teaming and then a period in front of the normal Andersen-const.com. So I'm going to go ahead and hit apply here and hit close. And then I'm just very quickly going to come over here, and I'm going to do it also for the wiki folder. And again, the email addresses have to be separate or different. So this one is test wiki. I'm going to hit add. The check mark is checked. I'm going to hit apply. I'm going to hit close. And now those two folders are set up for incoming email. So now I'm going to basically demonstrate how this works. I'm going to open up my GroupWise. I'm going to do a new message, and the first one will be the files folder. So I'm going to do tashman.testfiles at, and don't forget the teaming part or it won't work, const.com. Now the subject becomes the subject of the file entry. If you leave this off, then the title of the file entry becomes the file name itself, which I think most of you are used to when you just upload an individual file. But in this case, you get to be a little more creative, or at least it's easier to be creative. So I'm going to put in here, this is my file title. And then down here, even though it's just a file entry, you still have text that you can have in the middle of your file entry, this might explain what the file is for or directions on using the form or something like that. So we're going to put this as directions. And now I'm going to basically come down here and I'm going to attach a file. That's just some random file on my computer. Where is this one here? Some RTF. And now I'm going to hit send. I'm going to go ahead and send into the wiki folder right now, just because the system, it takes it maybe a minute or two to see the inbox and basically post the file. So by the time we do this, they should both be there. So in this case, I'm doing the tashman.testwiki, which is basically the wiki folder. Again, teaming.andersen, blah, blah, blah. As far as the wiki folder, the subject is very important, because without it, you'll get one that says no title, and then that makes it very hard to find. So we're going to put this, my wiki title, just so you can see it. And then down here we're going to put some text that is important, some other text. You can also do things like bullets, right? Like this, right? Whatever you're going to do. I'm also going to attach a file to this particular email. Even though a wiki entry doesn't really require it, you might want to pop it in there now, and then later when you're editing the wiki within Vibe, you might want to reference that file, with a link or something. So again, here's the title of the wiki. This will be my wiki text, and this is just going to be an attachment. And you can add more than one. I'm only showing that you're adding one here. You can add 10 here, and it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to go ahead and hit send. Going to minimize, and now if I click back on my email test files folder, that first one should definitely be there. And you can see there's that title. Now the author here will normally say the person who uploaded it, but because I'm the administrator for Vibe, it ends up putting that in there, so don't worry. That will normally say your name, because it knows that you sent it from your email. If I click on this entry, you'll notice that this is my file title right there. There's my file. I can still do the edit this file. I can still do all the actions that I could always do if I had just manually uploaded this. So, and then here's this is my directions, which was the basically the description or the body of the email address. So you can see that everything goes in there just like you had done it manually. If I now go into the wiki folder just to show you how the difference, or what the difference is, again, there's the title, there's the author. I click on this entry. Here it is with my bullets intact. There's my title. And now, because I've attached a file, it doesn't put it up like a file entry, but it's down here in the attachments. And again, I've got all the normal things that I can do. So that's basically how that works. And this can be really handy. You're out on the road. I use it to forward emails that I want to do other things with. Say I get an email from a vendor that's like a license, or maybe you're getting a contract from a vendor that's a scanned image of something. You can just forward it right out of email right into some folder. Works very handy. You don't have to save the files. You don't have to go upload them to Vibe again. You can always come in and edit the entry later if something about it you don't like. So anyway, it's just a very handy feature, and I would encourage everyone to go into their My Workspace, create a couple test folders, give this a try. I think you'll really find out that it's a very cool thing. Now, one last thing. What do you do when you're done with this folder and you don't want the email address to work anymore? And two, how does somebody find out what the email addresses are? And both of those things, well, the first one is accomplished by going back into the folder menu and basically removing that, and I'll show that in a second. The other one, if you look down here, every folder has a permalinks, email, RS links, and WebDAV URL link. And if you click on that, you'll see right here in the middle, there's that email address. Now, any normal user who has rights to view the folder can come and see that. Only the users who have the ability to post can use use the email address and actually get it to post. So just keep that in mind. Even if someone can see this, if they don't have rights to do anything in Vibe, they're not going to have rights to do anything via the email. So anyway, so that's the way that normal users would be able to find out, hey, this person set up an email address for incoming stuff. How great is that? Now, to delete the email address, you basically go back, again, as the workspace or folder admin. You come in here and you click on the simple URL, just like where you were before, and you'll notice now that you want to highlight up here in the currently defined URLs, click that checkbox, and then hit the delete selected URLs and click OK. And that one will go away. And now if I come back to here and I click on my link down at the bottom, you'll see that email address is gone, and now that email address is no longer valid and it won't work anymore. You can also, if you noticed, one last quick thing, is that you can define multiple email addresses in here. If I could actually click that. You can define as many as you want here. It'll just keep listing them, and you can make them all available and all of it. I don't recommend you do that. There's really no reason to have more than one email address for any given folder. It'll work fine, it won't hurt a thing. To me, it just seems like it's pointless. So anyway, that's my quick eCast on that. Hopefully you found this useful, and if you have any questions, comments, whatever, shoot me an email, give me a buzz. Thank you very much.